Ooh, and we're live. And welcome, everybody. This is Ragin with our special guest, GEOFF WEBER. Episode 40. What? What the heck is going on here? Anyway, he is in the hot seat. He's got Bug Hunt right now on Kickstarter, but we're going to be talking about that right after our intro. We'll be right back. Episode 40. What?
Ragin.
Good evening, everybody. We are Ragin with right now with GEOFF WEBER. We're going to be dropping the card in just a moment, but before we do that, make sure that you hit the subscribe button wherever it is you're tuning in from, because we are simulcasting to Geek Insider, Comics in More New Jersey, Indie Volt, as well as Ragin AVC. That's right, hit the button. I swear I'm putting that on my t-shirt, and I'm going to drop the card here. Jeff,
hey,
welcome to the hot seat.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you here. Okay, so you've got a Kickstarter going on.
Yeah.
You are an artist.
Yes.
You are a magician.
I am.
Inventor, teacher, husband, father. I mean, like, what the heck is going on? Why in the world, with everything else going on in your world, knowing that comic books is not an easy thing to do? What put you on this path? What were you thinking, man? What?
I love the medium. Everybody has felt that connection at some point to some piece of art or medium. Sometimes people get super into a book or a movie or a band. And for me, the thing that I always had the strongest connection and enthusiasm for, passion, always was in comic form. Since I started collecting when I was, an early teen, and some of my earlier interests, like Scud the Disposable Assassin, Tales from the Bean World. I was into the indie comics right from the start, but I was obsessed with those, and I saw that as not just a medium that I loved consuming. As a creative person, one who had ideas and visions of stories that I wanted to tell, comics was something that was accessible to me as somebody who had some artistic ability and some writing ability. So, the idea of wanting to make a Hollywood movie or something, that's kind of a pipe dream, but I can make a comic book. And so that's what I did. I had a bunch of friends in high school who were also similarly interested in comics and drawing, and we would get together, make our own little comics. I remember it was when we were in college. This was around the time that print on demand started to become a thing. The first print on demand companies that specifically catered to comics had entered the market. And we saw this as an opportunity that we could turn some of our little homemade comics that we had just been drawing on computer paper, and this was a chance to try to do something and have it printed in a professional format. So we took that opportunity to where we each drew a little story and we put it together into an anthology. And I loved the experience of that, and I just wanted to keep going with it. So that's how I ended up I've been doing comics now for over 15 years, and I don't see myself stopping anytime soon, even though I certainly have plenty other things on my plate, as you mentioned.
So you mentioned the computer paper, and I have these flashes of memory of the green and white paper. Or did I age myself? Were you like with the dot matrix printer?
Dot matrix. We did have a dot matrix printer with the feed side feed. I think we did have one of those. Yeah, I got my first computer in 1983.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, lots of fun. So I imagine that you guys were passing around a notebook and stuff and making did it start off with stories, or was it like pass a notebook, do a panel and things like that? What was that like?
Yeah, we would draw like a lot of just mostly characters. Different people had different things that they like to do. This was probably in the mid 90s that we were doing this, so a lot of my friends were drawing like the image superheroes and stuff like that. But for me, I was more into sequential type stuff and more storytelling stuff. So that's more of the kind of thing that I was drawing. And yeah, we would try to make each other laugh, drawing, adding goofy captions and word balloons to the comics. And it was just a great laugh, a lot of fun.
Have any of those survived?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think I have some over here. Let me see. I have one right here. This is one.
Wow. Hold on a second. Let me put that on the big screen. Look at that.
My friend drew this one. This one's called Slap Happy, and
that's amazing that you even have that right on hand. Wow, fun stuff.
Yeah, this is a full-on comic.
Wow, so much fun. I have to chase down the friend that's got some of our stuff.
Yeah, and I think I drew some fan comics of some of the comics that I was the Scud and the Bean World that I had mentioned. I did fan comics of both of those. Yeah, all that, and we tried to do our own original ones too. We were doing all kinds of stuff.
Well, so you said you were doing this for about 15 years. And then you mentioned sequential art, because there are a lot of people who do it all. They write, they do the art, they do the lettering, coloring. I mean, from soup to nuts, they do everything. And a lot of times, especially with the artist, they start off doing pinups and things like that, and then trying to get into sequentials. And some are like, no, sequentials aren't for me. That's like a whole other art form with so many other things that you have to bear in mind. But you said that you like the sequentials. I
do, and on this current project, Bug Hunt, I'm actually still doing that, even though I'm not the artist. Joe Wong is the interior artist for it, but I'm still drawing the layouts for the book that he's using to base his artwork on. So that's sort of a partnership that people have seen sometimes over the years. It's not super common, but Keith Giffen, I think, is pretty well known for working in that way, where he writes and does the layouts that he provides when he's not also doing the artwork. I found that was a good working relationship between me and Joe, where I wouldn't have to spend an inordinate amount of time trying to put in descriptive text. English is not his first language anyway, so there might have been a language barrier. But if I provide him with a drawing of how I want it, then I don't have to spend too much time elaborating on what I want the page to look like, and he's been able to bring it to life, and he's been nailing it ever since.
Well, can you talk us through your process as far as laying out a page? Because a lot of people, I know for me as a writer, right? Nita and I have been in the back room, basically taking my prose, and then we hammer it out into chunks of prose, and then we hammer it out some more as far as like panels, perhaps, depending on the artist that we want to work with, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And so I know when I think about certain scenes, I see one panel, but you're looking at a whole page and how it moves and how it flows. What is your process when it comes to taking your words and kind of laying it out on the page?
Well, I start from the script and I sort of break the script down into the panels. So I have that there, but the script is pretty minimal. It's mostly just the dialogue and then maybe a little bit of descriptive text about the action, but I don't go into a whole lot of detail beyond that. And then using those breakdowns of what actions and what dialogue moments are happening from panel to panel, then I start to envision the camera angles and like what proportions I want different panels to be. If I want a huge panel for this and 3 smaller panels for that, I figure out what would be a good arrangement in terms of eye flow, and then I just rough it out, and I don't go into a super great amount of detail. I might be able to pull up an example here if you would like me to try to
Sure, absolutely. That's something that we love doing here, is talking about the creative process, like how you go about doing it, because, well, one, it's a good reason to come back and watch the replay, hint, hint. And, but there are a lot of people who are kind of walking the same walk and learning. And that's something that I always find new tidbits of information with everybody who sits in that chair. Like, what can I glean from them? So yeah, definitely share your screen. And
great. So let me switch to this and let's see if you can see.
I can. There we go.
Here's an example of one of my layouts. So this is from a page where I have my main character talking to his little pet ferret there, and then in the first panel, and then he's looking out the window of a spaceship in awe as he's coming in for a landing to the space station. Then that larger panel, there's the ship pulling into the landing bay and some guys in jetpacks working on some scaffolding outside. And then down below, him with his duffel bag over his shoulder getting off. Then the lights go out, and when they come back on, he's kind of muttering to himself about, how this space station of the future is, kind of in shambles.
Earlier, you said that that your artist, though, English is a second language. So when you're sending him this with your notes, are you sending all of the dialogue or just instructions?
He's getting this with the script, so he sees that, and then
he sees all of it.
This is what he did from that. So,
oh wow.
So you can see he definitely followed my layouts, but he really added a lot of detail and really brought it to life.
Very cool.
So there is that.
Love getting that kind of insight. And I love seeing the scribbles too. That like from scribbles to inks and stuff is really kind of cool.
Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna keep working that way. And I have heard from other artists who don't work like that, and they said they would love to have that kind of working relationship, because then it kind of takes a lot of the burden off of them, and then they're sort of free to just focus on making it look cool.
When it comes to because you said that you write and you are an artist yourself, do you think more with the writer's brain or the artist brain? Is it more visual for you? Do you think in panels?
I picture it in my mind, almost like a movie while I'm.
Because you said something about camera angles, and I said, okay.
Yeah. I see it happening in my mind, and then it's a matter of like trying to put, get that thought out of my mind and into some sort of concrete form, either in word or in drawing form. So yeah, I definitely see it as like an action that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of how I envision it.
In the process of creating comic books, what would be, I guess, your least favorite thing to do?
Probably the marketing.
Oh yeah, that's a bear. Everybody wants to like basically put their head down and get busy creating, right? But when it comes to launching your book, which we are going to talk about after the break, but yeah, kind of getting out of there.
Yeah, if I could just have, somebody I could just hand it off to and be like, okay, now go sell 1 million copies of this.
It's funny. The worst for me is I have a lot of writer friends, and they would never think about getting on a show like this, even to promote their work. They're like, "Oh no, I don't do the camera." So has that been rough? Because I've seen you on a few other shows. So now you're on the junket.
I'm making the rounds. Yeah, I think I'm not somebody who's camera shy. I do have, an experience performing. One of my credits you saw was as a magician, so I kind of have to be able to get in front of people and be comfortable. At least, putting on a persona, even if it's maybe a little bit more of an act than in real life I might be a little more shy and reserved. But
well, that was a beautiful segue, because I did want to talk about you being a magician.
Sure, yeah.
Literally performing in front of people.
Yeah.
How different is that from doing live streams like this, maybe sitting at a convention table and then actually being on stage or in front of a group of people?
They all take some degree of self-confidence and willingness to put yourself out there. With magic, as with broadcasting like this, does require you to have some speaking ability, so you can convey yourself. I use too many crutch words in these interviews. I hate listening back and hearing how many times I say
That's why we have a vlog called Actually Just Ragin, because I say actually and Nita says just all the time. So we get it.
I'm really trying so hard to try to keep myself from doing that, but it's hard.
There's a cure for that, Jeff. Don't watch the replay.
Okay. Oh, now you tell me.
Just every day is like, it's like Groundhog Day. It's like, oh, we're starting over. Cut.
But for magic, it's a lot more about doing the same thing over and over again. You already know what you're going to do before you do it. So with art, it's a little bit more exploratory and figuring it out as you go along. So a little more improvisational, maybe. So there's a lot of differences, but there's certainly some skills that overlap between the two, I would say.
When did Bug Hunt start bugging you, where you were like, I need to make this story?
Well, the script itself began in 1997 when my co-writer Trent and I were teenagers. I was in high school. He had just graduated high school. He was a year ahead of me. I was a huge fan of Bruce Campbell, and Trent had been writing screenplays with his older brother. I was very impressed with that, and I thought he was in my mind already a professional writer, and I wanted to be like that. And so I was trying to find something that we could do together. So I had this idea, well, this actor I like, Bruce Campbell, he needs to be in some big budget sci-fi vehicle, so let's write one. And and I had in my mind sort of like a Die Hard in space type of.
See, the first thing that popped into my head was Ash and the Evil Dead, but
Yeah, exactly. And Trent was really into like Indiana Jones, so a lot of like that type of persona crept into the character as well. The robots were sort of the inspiration to that came from this Tom Selleck movie called Runaway. So if you really want to see Indiana Jones in space being attacked by the robots from Runaway, this Bug Hunt's for you.
that's awesome. When you decided that this was a lane that you wanted to do, okay, because again, you're a busy guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got teaching on the resume, not an easy thing.
I was in the classroom for 6 years,
Mm-hmm.
and now I am out of the classroom, but I work as I provide like training to schools and teachers on how to do instruction for students in special education, especially around like reading instruction and using technology.
Mm-hmm. And when I was looking at your campaign, and we saw you on another show, an Indie Vault show, where you're talking about the flip book.
Yeah.
And so that must have been fun. But I had a closer look at that, and there's some mechanical drawing in there.
Yeah, I just updated the campaign recently with the actual animation. I just finally finished it recently. I've been working like crazy all this past week to get it finished.
When you're drawing, do you lean more, because there are a lot of people, you can see where their passion is as far as art. You know, a lot of times it's landscape, sometimes it's architecture, sometimes it's people. What would you say is your favorite?
I like drawing. I like drawing people.
Mm-hmm.
I like the expressions and the acting, the gesture.
Right.
That would be my favorite.
And how is it just through these years of just drawing, maybe doodling, or doing commission work, possibly, that you kind of picked your lane as far as this kind of creative outlet? I mean, have you done commissions and things like that, or were you like, no, I'm just always kind of, hey, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna create my own stuff?
I have done some commission work.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of find it picking my lane an interesting choice of word there, because I think in a way going into comics was me avoiding picking my lane because I do sort of see
I've got to hear this. I
do sort of see myself as like one of those jack of all trades, master of none type of guys. Like,
hey, Jeff, that's my line now.
I do so many different things. I do the writing, I do the coloring, I do the lettering, I do the editing, I do the art, I do now you've seen I've done animation, I've done game programming, I do everything, none of it with any kind of mastery, but all of it I can do, to some degree of competence. And and one of the things that I find appealing about comics is that it is a medium that does bring together a lot of different areas and disciplines. It brings together the art and the writing, and not just art, but storytelling through art. So I find it is one of those things that sort of scratches that itch. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is definitely. I've told several people that had I started my comic book creative journey in my teens or 20s. Certainly, you know, we used to pass around the notebook too, which I thought was funny. It's something we definitely have in common. But literally putting together a book, trying to market it, going out. I mean, Kickstarter wasn't available back then, but even then, I don't know that I would have had the discipline to do that from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the struggles that many people have beyond marketing is time management. How in the world do you portion out your day so that you can kind of do it all?
That is a challenge, honestly. That was I do so much, but I'm also not nearly as hardworking as all my credits might lead you to believe. I'm, you know, I think naturally lazy and procrastinator, and that was one of the reasons why my previous graphic novel, The Scientists, took me 15 years, just because I would just work on it just a little bit at a time, and then I would put it away for months and months. And I think I'm on the other side of the coin. I'm also very stubborn and not gonna give up on anything. So I had that sort of single-minded determination that I was gonna keep working on it. You know, eventually, I knew I was gonna finish it eventually one day, and just by, just you can, if you take enough bites, you can eat a whale one bite at a time, and that's sort of the strategy I came to finish The Scientists, which was 180-page graphic novel.
Yeah.
And
well, we are just about at our 30-minute mark. We're going to take a quick break here. Hold on a second. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody. We are Raging with Jeff Weber. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button. We're simulcasting to Indie Vault, Geek Insider, Comics and More New Jersey, as well as Raging AVC. And if you are following along right now, even on the replay, check out the show notes, because we've got the link to Bug Hunt, a Space Exterminator Must Become a Hero by Jeff Weber. That is in the link, as well as his links to the social media, The Scientists, which he just mentioned. That is also there as well. Make sure you follow. And we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after this. Hey there. This is Meredith Loughran with Ragin'. And I wanted to let you know that we encourage and promote independent creators and their projects through organic interaction, consultations, and more. Visit Nita and me at RaginAVC.com for details and contact information. Hit the button. Okay, you crazy content creators, for a 10% discount on your Gemini mailers, make sure you go to GeminiComicSupply.com and use coupon code VOLT10. That's right, VOLT10 will get you a 10% discount on your Gemini mailers. And that is courtesy of Indie Vault. Thank you, Varian Grant and the crew over at Indie Vault. We have got Jeff Weber in the hot seat this evening. This is episode 40 of Raging With, and we are back. Hello.
I just want to say I also endorse the Gemini mailers. I have a box of them right here.
All right, getting ready. Tell us about The Scientists. Because you alluded to that. It is a graphic novel that you've been working on.
That was the graphic novel that I finished in 2020. That was another project that was also co-written with the same writer, Trent Beckett, who I mentioned was a friend of mine from high school who passed away in 2007. I was working on that very single-mindedly, as I mentioned. This was something that I'd already started before he passed. So I kind of felt like I had to finish it, just as a way to sort of celebrate him and honor the work he had done. Now, why did I go back to the well, so to speak, once that was done, and go to another story that we had done? I think part of that was that I think his voice that he provided to the scientists was a big part of what the people that enjoyed the scientists liked about it. I'm sure, I hope they liked my art and contributions as well. But I think that he was a very big factor in whatever that special sauce was that made it work. So if any fans that I had garnered over the couple years that I was publishing the scientists, first as single issues and then as a graphic novel, I didn't want to alienate those fans by then coming up with something that's totally different and have them be like, well, this isn't like your previous thing. This isn't what I like. So
that's the struggle, though, isn't it, Jeff? I mean, because we don't always, as content creators, it doesn't matter whether it's writing or art. Certainly when we're honing our skills and things, we're better at some things than others. But I myself have struggled with being known as this type of creator, or I don't want to be pigeonholed. So how do you fight off that, what you were just saying, where you don't want to alienate a certain group because you want to do this? That's where the creative journey is taking you, to maybe a different genre or a different style.
It's hard. Yeah. I think the natural tendency is for people to get put into boxes, pigeonholed, as they say. So you get known as like the horror guy or the sci-fi guy, pretty much right from the start. If that's the thing you do, then that's the thing people are going to expect from you next time.
But how do you get out of your own head when you find yourself doing that to yourself?
Well,
the struggle is real, people.
It's hard. You can force yourself. I found one way to maybe do it is a baby step is through anthologies. I just did a short story for a fairy tale anthology, so that's something totally different than anything else that I've done. And I'm going to be doing another anthology called Stupid Kids After a Bug Hunt. So these are ways to sort of test the waters and see what new things you can try that can respond to people. And I had some very positive early reviews to that fairy tale story from some people that saw advanced copies of that, who really liked what I had done. So that gave me some confidence that, maybe I don't have to stick to this sci-fi genre. I'm maybe a little confident. I have some other stories, in the line. Maybe that body horror, cyberpunk body horror that I had in mind, maybe is not so crazy after all.
There you go. Hey, just put it out there, and who knows, you might just surprise yourself and expand that audience into so much more, and find that they cross paths because they have varying interests as well. When it comes to the anthologies, I love that you mentioned that. That is an in for a lot of people.
It's a way, yeah.
Right. How have you found some projects to participate in?
Well, networking with other creators, especially creators who have worked on anthologies or been a part of anthologies, is a great way. There's certain comic Facebook groups that are actively hosting open submissions for some anthologies. Some anthologies are by invitation only, and unless you're on that
Nepotism.
editor, if you're on that editor's list of creators, then great. Otherwise, you're out of luck. But there's still plenty that are putting out the call, looking for creators. So if that's a way, if you're looking for a way to get into comics, I would recommend doing that, because it's a lot less daunting to do a 4-page story than it is to do a full issue, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if you're a writer and you're looking to work with an artist, it's a bit of a relationship, and you don't necessarily want to get married to somebody without going on a date. You know what I mean?
I love that. Yeah, because it's not as painful perhaps to the budget if you can't do everything.
Mm-hmm.
Now how do you kind of pick and choose the groups that you're in? Because from my own experience, right, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna learn this process of comic book making, and I was joining every single group that I could find, and a lot of them were pretty toxic. Like, you went in there and you asked a question, and they would mock you, and they were not so kind, and, oh, you're looking for free work and stuff like that. Sometimes with anthologies and finding those people, it's not a matter of free work. It's a matter of collaboration and investing in a project.
Yeah.
How have you been able to kind of navigate your social media and find your family of supporters?
I think it's more, I notice the groups where there has been an effort by the members to be inclusive and to be constructive. When I do see any of that toxicity, I just bail out as fast as possible. So it's no longer, I'm no longer a member, so it's not even in my feed. So I disengage, and I through the networking and establishing, the friendships with, it really is a community. Comic creators are a community. We're scattered around the world and around the country, but more and more I'm starting to recognize names and faces, and I'm sure once conventions start again, it's going to be a lot of fun to get to start seeing these people in person. Whereas, before, I probably would have felt like, an outsider and didn't know anybody. But the more you're a part of it, and I think that's another key to for people that want to do this, is to get involved and be active as a member of that community. Not just on social media, but on Kickstarter. If you're planning to use crowdfunding as a way to launch your own projects, you best be active in that community and supporting the other creators that are doing it, because it's not just about take, it's a give and take. You want to be giving this, putting more into it than what you're taking out of it.
That's one of the things that I realized with the Kickstarter, as I've been kind of studying that platform too, is that it has a social aspect that I don't think people realize is there. Through the updates, through leaving comments, through liking those updates, and really interacting with the people who have supported you. Finding that network and stuff is kind of interesting for a crowdfunding platform.
Absolutely.
And trying to navigate that and take advantage of those things. Like, if I were to follow you, I can see, as long as your profile is in private, I can see what you're backing, and then through that, go, oh, what's he looking at? Because, I kind of like the stuff that he's doing. Let's see if I kind of like the stuff that he likes to read too. And
Yeah.
it's,
And
it kind of snowballs.
and backing projects, it not only is supporting the creators, and by giving their project some attention, people see that you backed it, and supports them, but financially, obviously. But it also is educational for you because you can learn so much from how to do your own crowdfunding by studying what other people are doing and seeing what interesting strategies they're using that are working, and sort of apply that to your own. And there is basically a blueprint to this type of thing. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. um, when you're creating these pages. People have figured out what works. And you should absolutely incorporate some of these great ideas that you see other people doing into your projects, so you can sort of
Sure.
steal.
Yeah. I mean, it's a borrow, Jeff.
Borrow. Good artists borrow, great artists steal.
Oh no. And we've been canceled. No, just kidding. So we're taking a look at your campaign right now. Bug Hunt, a space exterminator must become a hero. It's a space station besieged by robotic spiders turns to a reluctant pest control worker to save the day. You've got 80 backers, which is great. That would be so cool if you saw 100 or more, and you've got 9 days to go on your campaign.
Yeah.
So, and you hit goal.
Yeah, we're a little bit past the halfway mark in the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
We
Congratulations on hitting goal.
We hit goal yesterday. I'm so pumped about that. Let's hope we stay above the goal.
Yeah, and you said that hitting goal kind of mid campaign and everything is that's usually the dead period. How have you been able to kind of keep a pulse on it? Because we've been watching Kickstarter too. At the beginning, you like to have a really strong beginning and a really strong end, but that middle part, it's a marathon.
The dead zone is the tough part. That's
yeah.
One of the tricks I found that works for me is shortening the length of the campaign. I think most people when they're starting out go for a month, and I just found that dead zone was too mentally and emotionally draining for me, and so I compress it. And for me, 3 weeks is a more comfortable time, less time to sit agonizing over why won't anybody back this campaign. It's been sitting at the same percentage for the last 3 days.
So when you're okay, so how often do you check your campaign? Are you killing your F5 button, or do you check once a day, or are you like, when I get a notification?
I check it. I think when I wake up, and maybe once or twice throughout the day. I think when you first launch, you're probably checking it like every 30 seconds.
That's right, because and I love the idea that you have shortened it, because there are a lot of people who go the 30 days or more, and then they realize, oh gosh, I have to market this thing. And so there's no the sense of what's the word I'm looking for? It's like you want to hurry up and finish this thing, but when you're looking at 30 days ahead, and you're like, oh my gosh, what have I done? Because now you're worried about that. You're worried about moving the needle.
I think if you have like some very huge audience, like thousands of people spread out, and multiple ways of reaching them, then a longer campaign does make sense, because you need to put in online advertising and you need to let your media machine work for you. But if you have a small, tight audience, like a lot of indie creators, like I have, then you're just dragging it out, as far as I'm concerned. And you need some sense of urgency, because a lot of your supporters who see, oh, I got 30 days, I'll get around to this later.
Right. Sense of urgency. That's what I was looking for.
So that sense of urgency where you really let them know, we're doing this, it's happening quick, get off the fence and be a part of it. That you need that call to action. And
right.
So that's sort of where I've landed. I gradually I've tried it. I know some people go even shorter than this. Some people go like to 2 weeks. For me, that's a little. I need just a little bit more so that I can feel like I've had enough chance to beat the drum, post all my socials, and reach out to podcasts and YouTube channels to do interviews and send out all the newsletters I can send out. But yeah, it's tiring. It's a lot of work. You gotta keep. One of the things that I've been doing a lot this time, and I did it a lot last time, is cross promoting with other creators that are live on Kickstarter. On every newsletter, every update I send out, I'm plugging other people's projects. They're plugging my projects. I think that's a great way to, spread the love.
Yeah, definitely cross-promoting. A great way to do that, yeah.
So I really recommend that as well. So I haven't been using any paid advertising this time around, mostly just because I still am learning that process, and I didn't feel necessarily confident enough that I knew what I was doing, that I was ready to make that leap. But it's that would be something I would consider in the future for sure as well.
Yeah, so we're taking a look at the campaign, and we are seeing some interior work. How far are you as far as getting this done? Is it done? Is it ready for print?
It is completely drawn by Joe Wong. All 24 pages are drawn. The entire script is written. I have not finished the coloring or the lettering yet. That'll be done after the Kickstarter is over. I'm doing the coloring, but I'm not doing the flatting. So that's okay. That's maybe the more tedious aspect of coloring, where you make all the colors fill in the lines properly, but the actual color choices and the shading and the lighting haven't been added yet. But once so I have a flatter that's done about half the book so far, and she'll be doing the other half as soon as I send her the pages. But she's unbelievable. Like it takes me hours to flat a page, and
it's tedious.
It is tedious.
Oh my gosh!
and she does she whips out 10 pages in a couple days.
Yeah. I tried flatting once just to say that I did it. And I was like, oh man, I would do it if I absolutely had to, just because, try to save money or something. But at this point, I'm like, black and white, it's all good. The struggle is real.
Yeah, for me, it was just, I want to get this out faster, so I figure some of that I'd be better letting somebody else do that, and then I can just maybe apply things where my time is better served.
When I see some of these interiors and I see Bug Hunt, the first thing that comes to mind is Starship Troopers.
Sure, yeah.
Which I love that movie. Love that movie. I don't know why, but I do.
Yeah, it's got shades of maybe Starship Troopers, Men in Black, Guardians of the Galaxy.
I'm seeing a fedora here. Maybe that Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Let's see, Arachnophobia.
Okay.
Arachnophobia in space. Tremors, Critters. Uh,
all the good movies from, I would say, the 90s.
yeah. So it's definitely got a humorous tone
Mm-hmm.
to it. So with a bit of the action adventure aspect as well.
So who is the audience for this? Is this okay for younger readers?
Um,
More mature audience,
yeah,
maybe?
I mean it's not an adult comic,
Mhm.
but it's not a kid comic. It's a whoever likes adventure. This the arachnoids, as I'm calling them, they are deadly. So they do kill a couple people. So there's some violence,
Mhm.
but yeah, it's not like an R-rated thing. I would say it's a PG, but like the PG is like the actual PG that involves the way Jaws is PG.
Right, right. So I see a video here. Do you mind if we play that?
Yeah, please.
Okay, here we go, you guys. Let me just get this on the right screen. And we're watching Bug Hunt. Here we go.
Where are they, Dodger?
Where are they? They're everywhere.
Yeah, but I can't see them.
They're in there. Hiding.
They're close. I can hear them. Aha. Gotcha. Damn bugs. Bug Hunt. Space Pest Control. Saving the day is just part of the job.
Hi, I'm Jeff Weber, the co-creator of Bug Hunt. It's a sci-fi action adventure story about Blake Campbell, a blue-collar space exterminator who mistakenly ends up on a space station being attacked by robot spiders. And it turns out Blake's skill set might just be the thing that helps save the day. Excuse me, please. Where's Blake when we need him? I successfully kickstarted The Scientists in 2020. That was the last story that I worked on with Trent Beckett before we lost him. This time, I decided to go back to the first story that we worked on together, Bug Hunt, one that we never finished until now. Now, The Scientist was a 15-year-long project, but I've learned so much about making comics in that time that this time I was able to do it in just 6 months. And that's all thanks to bringing on a team to help me. I have the super talented Erwin Arosa doing the covers. I have Joe Wong doing the interior art, and I'm handling the colors, lettering, editing, and writing. We need your support to help pay for the production costs and printing of this comic. We're offering some really cool rewards like sketch cards, variant covers, as well as some premium rewards like a chance to get drawn into the book, art commissions, animated flip book, even your own robotic bug. So join the hunt and pledge today. Turn them off.
I heard the kids in the background.
Yep.
Now, tell us about the mechanical bug, because I saw that. I was like, oh, I think I need that in my life.
That is something I was just using to sweeten the deal for people that are getting a art commission from me. So I have sold three of those already. I have 2 left.
Is that something that you designed yourself? Or is that like mechanical Legos or something? How did you put that together?
It's a hex bug.
It's a hex bug.
It
Nice.
is. Yeah. Yeah.
And then the flip book.
Yeah.
Oh,
If you scroll down, you can see an animated GIF of the flip book animation.
Not that one.
A little bit further.
I know I saw it earlier. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. There it is.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to put that together?
About a week.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, this is an 11 frame walk cycle. Joe provided the art for it, but then it wasn't quite walking the way I wanted it to walk. So what I had to do is I had to go and cut out each leg and leg segment
Oh my gosh.
into a separate layer. So each leg has got about 3 segments.
Wow.
Then I had to go in Photoshop and rotate and reposition and distort all of them to create all of the different positions and manually animated it frame by frame.
Mm-hmm. And with the kids in the background and they're watching dad work, do they think it's cool, or are you a total geek?
I think my kids like it. I have gotten a couple of them to read The Scientists, and they were fans of it. They liked it. I have a 10-year-old who's not super enthusiastic about reading, but he read that whole graphic novel in one sitting, and he was telling me, that just shows you how much I liked it.
Or they could be your worst critic too.
Sure. So there you go. Good enough to get my 10-year-old to read a whole graphic novel in one sitting.
That's amazing. Yeah. And so we are getting towards the end of our hour. Jeff, it's been a pleasure sitting with you. Let's take the bug down. I don't know. It might creep some people out. It doesn't bother me, though. I love it. I love it. Where can people find you?
My website is scientistscomic.com. Scientists, plural, comic.com. There you'll find my web store where you can purchase The Scientists. It's got links to my current Kickstarter for Bug Hunt, as well as my links to all my socials and to get on my mailing list. So that's probably the one-stop shop.
Okay. And so how often do you send out stuff in email?
Well, it varies. During Kickstarter time, I'm weekly, and rest of the time I'm probably monthly.
Mm-hmm. Do you find that that your mailing list has been beneficial for you?
Yeah, I would say that is one of my larger sources of promotion and support has been through that.
Mm-hmm.
I do need to go through it and pare it down because I haven't done a good scrubbing since I created it. So it's accumulated quite a lot of inactive emails over the time.
Right.
So it's a good practice to scrub these emails and take the people that haven't opened an email from you off, just so that you're, not wasting their time and not wasting your time.
Right. I think if those emails go to dead accounts often enough, it just it kind of defaults to like the junk.
Yeah, it can hurt your deliverability.
Mm-hmm.
On certain like Gmail and stuff like that.
Okay. And so final question before we go.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to give one piece of advice to new creators who are coming into this as a business or a creative outlet, what would you tell them?
I would say don't try to do everything yourself. I learned the hard way that is really exhausting. It's so much more fun to work with collaborators, to work as a part of a team. You can get stuff done faster. Division of labor is a great thing, especially if everybody is equally invested. Then you don't have to have one person doing all the promotion either. That's another great thing. So if you can find other people that are as equally excited about it as you are, that's great. One of the things that I found while working on this was just having Joe emailing me saying, I just finished these pages. I'm ready for the next script and layouts. That was, incentive to me to get off my butt and and work faster than I normally would have been working. Because as I mentioned before, I'm Mr. Lazy, Mr. Procrastinator. So, if you give me a week, give me 2 weeks to do something, I'll wait until the last day, and then that's when I'm doing it. But yeah, he kept me moving. He was like cracking the whip on me.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Accountability partners are great.
Absolutely.
Well, Jeff, it's been a pleasure. Let me put the card up here for everybody tuning in. Thank you. Thank you. This is Jeff Weber in the hot seat, episode 40 of Ragin' With. Again, we are simulcasting across multiple networks. Thank you to Indie Volt, Geek Insider, Comics and More New Jersey, as well as Ragin' ABC. We've got the links to Jeff Weber, the Scientists website, Scientists Comic. Help me out, Jeff.
Scientistscomic.com.
There you go. And his social media as well. Also, the Kickstarter, which is active for 9 more days. Make sure that you head over there and give it a little bit of love. If you've already backed it, great. Share it out with your friends. We love it when you hit the button. That's the theme. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Hey, Jeff, do me a favor.
Yeah.
Say throw my dudes.
Say what?
Throw my dudes.
Throw my dudes.
We're out of here, you guys. Thank you.